you guys are in for a treat today. Today we drove down to Colorado Springs because look at this beautiful backdrop. You can't beat it. So about 45 minutes from the Denver Tech Center, maybe closer to 50, I suppose. But gorgeous Colorado Springs. Today we're going to talk to you about, I don't even know how many I have. I think I started with 10. It might be 12 things that people don't tell you when you're moving here to the Denver area. So, or 12. Colorado. 12?
Yep.
I think I had 10 and then I kept going. So what I did is I asked in our local Facebook group. We have a local Facebook group here of 42,000, almost 43 now, members. And I said, what is something that no one tells you when you're thinking of moving to Colorado that you don't know? So
there was a lot of input on that post.
There was a lot of input. We usually get a lot of input when we put stuff on there. So we're going to go over some things today. So if you're thinking of moving to Colorado, maybe there's some things that you might want to consider. So do you want to?
And she may have to explain some of these.
I didn't write them. They wrote them. But okay.
So number one on things that they don't tell you, we're going to go to 12 of these. But number one says, ideal time for sports, ? Sports are earlier.
Well, that's true.
I don't know what this means.
This one I lied. This one is from my husband. My husband says that, so he used to live on the East Coast. And he used to hate watching sports because he used to always fall asleep.
My daughter's having this problem right now.
I know. And so like the Super Bowl, let's say it just happened. It doesn't start until 2 hours. So 6:30.
6:30 p.m.
A lot of times games will start like at 9 sometimes. I mean, I go to bed at 8:30. Yep. So let's be honest about it. So
that's very true. So on Prime TV, Prime streaming for TV and major games and athletics, it starts earlier in the day.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that one.
It
very
does, for sure.
My daughter was actually complaining about that. She's over in North Carolina and she said it's so late at night, and she's in college. So it is late.
So I'm not the only one who goes to bed at 8:30. Okay, so then the second one, I know what it is because this is also for me. So I lied. 10 are from the group, 2 are for me. So the second one I think is interesting is we don't have plastic bags here anymore. So you have to pay for them. They're 10 cents, and they're actually going to go away completely, I think, this year in 2024. So when you go in the grocery store and you're traveling here, bring your reusable bags.
Yeah, I'm still having troubles getting used to that. I mean, I have the bags in the back of my car, but it's just a new habit. I'm getting better. But yes, it winds up, you just have to be aware. And when you go shopping, then just bring your bags.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
So number 3 on that list.
These are from the group, I promise.
Yeah. So somebody in the group, her name's Katie, says there's no such thing as seasonal clothing. You wear it all year round. LOL. You are exactly right, Katie. So even in the middle of summer, you'll have a light jacket or a sweatshirt most of the time.
And I should learn from this because right now I'm like shaking and I should have a winter coat in my car because it looks like sunny and beautiful and you're like, oh, the sun's out, because the sun here in Colorado, you're closer to it when you're at 5,000 feet of elevation.
Yeah.
And it is warmer. The sun just feels warmer. When you come out here, you'll
sitting
feel
on
it.
a hot rock.
Yeah. Just
with the sun to our back.
But even in the wintertime, in the summertime, I will have layers in my car and jackets at night. When that sun goes behind those mountains, it cools off instantly.
Yep. No, absolutely. And then with that being said, in the winter, it is nice to dress in somewhat of layers because then sometimes you'll have a warm winter day and you're like, I'm hot. I don't want a wool sweater on. So to have layers, but yes, we use all clothing all year round here in Colorado.
Okay, so I got the next one.
4.
The next one comes from Alan, and he says the wind is very strong. And I do have to say, obviously I agree with all these because I put them down, but the wind is, and especially in the springtime, it can be like 40, 50 mile per hour winds.
It's my least favorite thing about Colorado.
Is that springtime, you're ready for summer, and it's just windy.
I'm a native, and I don't even know where I heard this, but I think it's true. So when there is, and you can see Pikes Peak.
Oh, you've always said this.
America's mountain behind us. So when there is snow on the peak, you will get wind. As soon as that snow gets off the peak, it's in general, there's not really wind, maybe a light breeze, but the wind tends to stay until that snow's off the peak.
All right, you got the next one.
So number 5, my lucky number 5, Grace says that it just doesn't rain in the winter. I was used to Florida winters where it rained almost every day.
It's kind of funny. I would not have thought of that because I'm from Minnesota and it was snowed all the time. And here in Colorado, it snows, then it melts, and it snows, and it melts. That was different for me, but actually raining in the wintertime, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, and we actually did just have rain in the winter.
We did that. Someone posted or commented
just
on
a
that.
couple days ago, and it became very icy. That is an anomaly. It doesn't usually happen. Usually it is just snow, but rain usually is early summer, springtime, and sometimes in the fall a little, but mainly spring, early summer.
All right. What do we got for my next one? I get number 6, I would say. So Ed says, well, this is one for to talk about. It's turning into California politics and pricing. So that's what people are saying. Denver is a little bit more liberal. Colorado Springs is a little bit more conservative. So everyone's saying it's turning a little bit more liberal, as you can see from some of our voting trends. And pricing, it still depends. We've had clients come from California and they still are not shocked by our prices. They actually think they're pretty well as far as housing prices. But
and even
only from
Texas.
California.
Sometimes even people from Texas say housing isn't that bad because I think they're accounting for all their property taxes as well.
Yeah.
So housing is what it is. You're living in the beautiful state of Colorado. It does come with a little bit of a buy-in, but you'll save money on not having to spend a ton of money on entertainment because you get these great outdoors at zero cost to you.
Yeah. But you will hear that a lot if you move here. Colorado's becoming the next California. You'll hear that.
So number 7, Michael says, expensive and growing population. Denver went from number 2 to number 99 in only 3 years.
Now this is
due main to affordability.
I put this as well. What's his
You
name?
put that.
I did. Michael says it's expensive and growing population. And what I think is interesting about Denver is that I just did some research on it for another one of the videos that we did. And back in 2020, Denver ranked number 2. And then 2 years later, it ranked number 55. And now it's ranked number 99th in the country.
I do think that is due to affordability being
the number one reason is affordability.
Yep. And I mean, with that being said, I think that there was an influx of people moving all over the entire United States. Like, people were moving everywhere. And during COVID, I would say a lot of people that moved here were seeking out a certain lifestyle. So with that being said, housing did go up. I would say over this last year, housing has remained the same, or maybe even in the Denver area dropped slightly. But we are not having major crashes because Colorado still remains a very highly desired state to live in, mainly due to lifestyle and views and the weather. So with that being said, I don't expect that to really change too much, even based on the rankings.
All right, so number 8.
Yeah,
this was interesting, and we have varying opinions on this one as well. But Carl says the food is terrible.
That's mean, Carl.
Some people swear that the food is terrible, and some people say it's great, which is, I think it's more like they want that authentic.
Well, I know we've had people move here from Texas, and they want Tex-Mex, which is a certain kind of Mexican food, and they like to go to certain places for that.
We don't have flavor. I guess if you want spicy food, it's real hard. Like when I had someone go order Indian food, he's like, make it spicy, and they still don't make it spicy. I think they're scared to do so. Like, I feel like more flavor.
My mother-in-law loves the East Coast because of all the like Hungarian bakeries, and then they can go to German marts. And yes, there are some, but I would say it's not as abundant as some other areas.
Right. So that's, here, you get number 9.
So number 9, Jackie says, worst drivers on the road. Sorry, that's probably a loud guy. Worst drivers on the road you have ever seen. Bad drivers. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, there are bad people will swear up and down. They've been to all different parts of the country, and they always swear that Colorado has some of the worst drivers and like road rage. And I think what maybe part of that is we have drivers from like all over the country.
Kind of a melting pot.
It's a melting pot of different drivers from everywhere, and they all kind of converge here. And traffic in Denver can be rough.
If it's their first winter, and all of a sudden they're going from being used to like icy roads in the winter to not having the ice, like I think part of it's also patience and road rage with the driving.
Maybe a little.
So we'll leave it at that.
I will say that.
So number 10.
Number 10, Hillary says it's difficult to garden, which I had to highlight that one because I do like to garden, or I try to garden, and it really is hard because we have, one, it's super dry here, so you don't have that humidity that a lot of plants and vegetables will like, and we have a really
growing
growing
is shorter.
Yeah.
So you have to start your seeds indoors
And
to really, especially like with your tomatoes, because they have the later bloom.
Yeah, and they always say after Mother's Day, but really it's like, I mean, to be safe, you have to wait till June 1st. I think I've covered my plants like every year because I get so impatient to make it go.
But you have to get them started because then your
hail.
growing season could get cut short in that September
Last
time.
year I lost my garden twice because of hail and I had to start over. I still did well, but it was very frustrating for sure. So when you're thinking of coming here to garden, there's a lot
now,
of
with
Facebook
that being
groups.
said, there is, if you go south to Pueblo, they are known for their green chilies. They have a lot of produce as far as, you know, tomatoes. It's a lot warmer down there. And then even on the western slope, there is a lot of orchards and farmland. And so if you want that fresh produce, a lot of times they will bring it over to this side of the mountain with farmers markets or whatnot. But we do have fresh produce. It's just our growing season is shorter if you try to grow it yourself.
It's true.
So hang with us. We have 2 more.
It's getting busy around here.
Yep, I'm going. So number 11, Scott says registration on new cars or cars newer than 10 years is ridiculous, expensive. And Haley continues to say she didn't know about the hail and insurance increases coming. So to be honest, I don't really know what affects registration. I do know, like, I was just going to register a car that was only 2 years old and it significantly dropped. You know, that a 2021 Ford Explorer was about $550, but I do remember the first couple of years it was around $1,000.
Yeah, brand new
for
cars.
a brand new car.
And then it drops to like 500-ish. It depends upon the weight of the car and all those different factors to drive on our roads. Our roads are a little rough around here. We have a lot of potholes because of our weather.
Yep.
And then we do have hail. And so I think that's what she was continuing on with. That was just saying, you know, for your car insurance, you do want to have a decent deductible, meaning not that much, because you're probably going to have to file a claim at some point for hail.
And in general, I think that Colorado is maybe a higher risk area, you know, if you're close to the trees, if you've been in an area where there was natural fires, if, you know, your area of town has got hit with hail several times. So just shop your insurances, and car insurance is a little bit higher as well. And so just try to bundle it. You know, it's still with
bundle and save,
but get to know your insurance companies pretty well.
All right. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, April says the sunshine year round is amazing. And I did want to end on that because I didn't know when we were going to film this, but this is what it's like.
Even though we're kind of cold today.
We are a little cold, but I'm getting more used to it. But
I mean, I had to put on sunglasses because it's bright.
Yeah, we were with
sunny.
the client from Michigan, remember? And I was
yeah.
like, what's the difference, you know, between here and Michigan? I'm from Minnesota, so I get it. But she's like, my main difference is that I haven't felt the sun since October. Remember
I was
she
like,
said that?
Really?
And we get this, it'll snow, and then we get like 4 days of sunshine, and then the clouds might come over the mountains sometimes in the afternoon.
We had pretty rough, like blizzardy weather. When was that? This weekend?
Yeah, it's always happening.
And
on weekends.
literally the next day, it was slush because the sun came out, warmed up the roads, and everything melted within literally 24 hours.
Right.
So the sun definitely helps. It makes it more appeasable. Is that a word?
I don't think so, but maybe.
To work and play in the great outdoors. We don't have that humidity, so there's not that bitter cold. You know, the sun helps warm you up. So even if it says it's like 35 degrees on the ski mountain, well, it feels warmer because the sun is so intense and we don't have that humidity.
Right.
So
I don't ever think we introduced ourselves in this clip, but I'm Laurie Derickson. She's Kalene Zaabadick from Colorado's Finest Agency here in Denver, Colorado. We do a ton of real estate here. Absolutely love it. We love making these videos, but we always say we like making Colorado your home.
Even more.
So put those numbers into your phone and reach out and give us a call or text anytime. We'd love to help you and your family make that move here to Colorado.